For years, I've followed the money rules everyone tells you to follow. Pay off debt as fast as possible. Never spend money on convenience. Track every dollar. Always buy the cheapest option. Keep as much cash as possible. And according to personal finance experts, those habits should have made me wealthier. But here's the strange part. The more I followed those rules, the more exhausted I became. And the moment I started breaking some of them, my net worth started growing faster. Now, before you start typing angry comments, hear me out. I'm not talking about being reckless. I'm not talking about blowing money on luxury cars or maxing out credit cards. I'm talking about a handful of habits that look irresponsible on the surface, but quietly create wealth in the background. In fact, research published in the Journal of Financial Planning found that people who follow overly rigid money systems are far more likely to experience financial burnout and eventually abandon their plans altogether. In other words, some of the very rules designed to make you wealthy end up making you quit. So today, I want to show you 10 money habits that look wrong on paper, but have made me richer year after year. And the first one is probably going to upset a lot of people. I don't pay off my mortgage early. I know, personal finance gurus hate hearing that because we've all been taught the same thing. Debt is bad. Pay it off as quickly as possible. Sleep peacefully at night. Sounds logical, but here's the question. Almost nobody asks, at what cost? If my mortgage costs 3% interest and the stock market historically returns around 10% over long periods of time, every extra dollar I send to the bank saves me 3%. Every extra dollar I invest has the potential to earn much more. That gap doesn't just add up. It compounds. Over decades, that difference can turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars. The truth is, most people aren't paying off their mortgage because the math is better. They're paying it off because it feels safer. And that's okay. But comfort has a price, and most people never calculate what they're actually paying for that comfort. The second habit is spending money on convenience. I pay for grocery delivery. I pay for cleaning. I pay for services that save me time. And from the outside, it looks wasteful. But ask yourself this, what is an extra 3 hours of your life worth? If spending $40 saves 3 hours that allow you to earn more, rest more, think more clearly, or spend time with people you love, did you really lose money? Or did you buy back your most valuable asset? Your time.
Studies from Harvard researchers found that people who spend money to buy time report higher life satisfaction than those who don't. Not because they're richer, because they're less overwhelmed. Third, I ignore small expenses. I don't lose sleep over coffee. I don't feel guilty about lunch. I don't spend mental energy tracking every tiny purchase. Because the biggest wealth killers are rarely small expenses. They're big decisions. The overpriced car, the salary negotiation you never had, the expensive lifestyle you slowly drifted into. Those decisions move your financial future far more than a $5 coffee ever will. Fourth, I invest in myself before I feel ready. Courses, skills, tools, coaching. Most people wait until the perfect moment. The problem is that perfect moments rarely arrive. When you invest in yourself early, you create commitment. You show up differently because money is on the line. And often, the biggest cost isn't the money you spend. It's the opportunity you miss by waiting too long. Fifth, I don't budget every dollar. Instead, I automate my investments first. The money gets invested before I can touch it. Then I live on what's left. Because systems beat willpower. Every single time. Sixth, I keep more cash than finance influencers recommend. Not because cash earns great returns, because cash creates options. It allows me to stay calm during market crashes. It allows me to act when opportunities appear. And most importantly, it allows me to make decisions from strength instead of fear. The rest of the habits follow the same pattern. Giving generously without expecting repayment. Paying for quality instead of constantly replacing cheap products. Saying no to social events that don't genuinely matter, and most importantly, living below my means even as my income grows. Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't built by looking rich. It's built by protecting the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That's the secret. The people who look wealthy often aren't. The people who are wealthy often don't look like it. Because they fell in love with building assets instead of upgrading lifestyles. And that single mindset shift changes everything.